Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour.
Welcome to the Album Concept Hour. I am your host, Brad LeBaron, and we are here for another episode of this podcast. We had such a great time with Inspector 34 month. We talked about all sorts of projects and future things, and we're moving on to a bit in the past. But before I tell you what we're working on today, I'm going to introduce our co-hosts. We have co-host virtual Jake the Snake. What's going on, Jake?
Hey, how's
it going?
everybody? I'm doing great. Excited about this album.
Yeah. This is going to be a real Jake heavy episode, I think, because he's into this genre in particular. I don't know how much you know about him in particular, but you seem to know stuff about.
Oh yeah,
the blues.
This is definitely, yeah. This
in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, this is what one of the inspirations. Not necessarily the guy, but like pretty much the guy, and ended up being like why I have the radio show and etc. So get into that later.
Definitely. And we have another co-host. We have virtual John. What's going on, John?
Oh, not too much, bro. Dad's just chillaxing at home tonight.
Yep. Just
staying
at the home fort. Now that we've finally figured out all of Zoom's secrets, we can all comfortably Zoom from home and not sacrifice quality. It's nice, guys. If you like sound, this is nice. This is good news. These episodes are not going to sound as distant and from a telephone. You know what I mean? So
some people probably like
phoned
that.
In, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's the quarantine, it's the way it is. But and again, this could be a feature Zoom added like last week, and I just like checked it again. Because I really don't think this feature was here when this all started. But anyway, we are getting into an album long before the technical wonders of Zoom. This is a time when the equipment available was rudimentary at best for recording. This is 1961 we're going back to, and we're covering Freddie King and his album, that's right. Let's Hide Away and Dance Away with Freddie King, right?
I think, yeah. And I think this is like, this era was like the twist and, all of those, like, let's twist again. All those, I'm sure he just had to, had to include this and make this like a dance album, So.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a head bopper for sure.
Yeah, it is. The whole time we were just really, grooving with the songs. Like you can do anything while listening to this. It's an instrumental album that we're getting into. He did release an album that has vocals, and most of his albums have vocals, right?
Yeah.
So,
he actually said I think I found it somewhere where he was like everybody started noticing how great he played guitar, and he didn't like how his voice was being overshadowed by his guitar playing. He wanted his voice to be, so this kind of like,
that's so weird.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever say that.
Yeah. Usually, like, if you're good at the guitar, that like trumps being good at the vocals. You're like, I don't even care if I'm good at vocals. I'm going to focus on this guitar. But I guess that's before maybe guitar had the kind of the history
carrying power.
Yeah, now we see the guitar as like the main instrument of rock music. You know what I mean? It ever since that era when people like this established it as such.
Yeah.
Well, we live in an age of stars now, and it's like the guitar became the star of the rock band, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, everything was very ensemble piece. This was an album made to showcase the guitar.
And I
That's
think a
true.
lot of that
Yeah.
is probably because of how, and Brad, you mentioned it. Like you mentioned that it was very rudimentary at best. The recording, the way they
Yes.
recorded this album.
Yes.
However, comparatively to 10 years prior, this
Yes.
was way more than that. And 10 years before that, you know,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
you could plug into, plug in, and it wasn't a microphone, you know, on an amp. You know, this was plugged right in, and it's a very clean and pure sound. And that's,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll listen to it and we'll hear. And then that's one reason why I love this style of guitar and love. I don't think, we've mentioned his name a couple times, but Freddie King.
Yeah, yeah. He's someone that I was unaware of before you brought him up, Jake. So I'm, pleasantly surprised by this. It's like very, like you said, very clean, very, and as John was saying, it's like in the forefront, the focus. Really, really powerful guitar stuff. If you're a blues or jazz guy,
This is like early days of rock and roll, the rock and blues, like this stuff. And we'll go through the songs.
Yeah.
But like this stuff, and Freddie King was like Eric Clapton, like the reason why he included and he's covered a lot of these songs. Not only on this album, but Eric, on his other albums as well, some of the singing ones. And going through Eric Clapton's catalog, I'll look back and be like, oh wow, that was another one that was a Freddie King song. So
yeah. That's another thing that we're gonna probably talk about as we go along. Like there's a lot of you're going to hear a lot of things that you recognize, but not from Freddie King. You're going to recognize it from someone else that is referencing Freddie King and referencing this age. This is very much, one of the examples of a black artist not getting as enough credit and respect for, the music that he inspired. So,
I hear so many familiar riffs and stuff like that in all these songs. Stuff that we've listened to after, stuff from the Beatles. I think I heard something that reminded me of like some of the Eagles stuff that they did in the 70s,
there's some stuff that gets a little Stevie Ray Vaughan, some little Texas, but it's kind of a range of bluesy styles. So I wonder
this is like when I looked and researched the style of Freddie King. They put Stevie Ray Vaughan and Freddie King together, using the minor pentatonic guitar bends and minor pentatonic scale, and just kind of sit on that and go back and forth. And so much of it is like going out and not having that resolve, and then you come back and resolving that, and that is so much in that the sound that so many of these songs, I mean, all these songs just take. And you guys were mentioning on the listen through, so many of these songs, they're all instrumentals, but they also the voice, like the way that they use the guitar, he uses the guitar to sing and to show emotion. Like just you can just feel it, in these songs.
Yeah, kind of like, some of my old jazz friends would say, when you're playing jazz, you're playing an instrument, like your voice is the instrument, like in a very literal sense.
Yeah.
Once you have the ear to like hear it, you can hear those minute, like, differences between styles. And that's, in the blues, especially, and the growth of rock and roll, like it was always, one person trying to one up the last person with like what their voice or talent was, but they're all very different. If you really want to, get into it. But you guys are going to get into the first track, huh?
I think
How's
so.
How's
I
that
think
for a transition?
I did want to mention. I did want to mention one other thing.
Okay.
This album was released a couple years after. I think it was like 1963.
Okay.
Surf music was a very big thing, And did you guys did a Ventures album, right?
Yeah, we
Yes.
Surf guitar, surf rock.
That's the only other instrumental album we've done, I believe.
I was going to ask, was this our second or third? So this is our second one. Okay.
If we have done another one, I don't recall, and you can yell at me in the comments or something. But
this album was re-released because of the surf music craze as Freddie King Goes Surfing. The entire album, it's the same exact album, but it's re-released under different, and it's got people holding surfboards and
Jesus, why? That's so weird to do.
Whatever it took to sell some records.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes you do it even if like it might even be done ironically, but we wouldn't. There's no way you could know looking at it from now, which is ironic and which isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, the surfing thing was friggin' huge. Beach Boys, they were, ripping up the charts, and Dick Dale,
The I mentioned him a few weeks ago who Jesse Coulter was married to. I can't remember his name right now, but he was a big guy in the surf rock scene as well. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that about some of the guitar on this as well. It sounded a little
a few tracks sound very surf rocky.
I think a lot of those guys took their sound from Freddie King, and I think it was a lot of them taking their song and then making it their own. But why not re-release an album and try to get people to buy it with the surf,
trying to take advantage of the sensation of the thing that you helped build.
Right.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, you got to make some money from it somehow.
Yeah.
Those guys weren't going to give you money for it, so
it's got to suck.
Never.
But this first track is called Hideaway. Here we go. If it wants to load.
Brad,
is it playing?
We're not hearing it. I can
Brad,
hear
is it playing?
Oh shit! Sorry.
I'm very confused.
Okay.
It's great to see you nodding your head. That's cool.
No, it's the same button. The button that's always giving me trouble. I just didn't know that it cut off the Zoom feed of your audio as well.
It's okay if it's not there.
Here we go.
I mean,
here's Hideaway.
Okay. That was the Peter Gunn part of that recording. Peter Gunn theme.
Peter Gunn. Okay.
We didn't even know that when we picked it. That's awesome.
So wait, who's Peter Gunn?
Peter Gunn was a television show.
Okay.
And it was from 1959, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Dwayne Eddy was the guy that was married to Jesse Coulter earlier, but he recorded a version of the Peter Gunn theme. The Blues Brothers recorded a version of the Peter Gunn theme as well.
Okay.
Isn't there usually like trumpets or something like that? Like,
they use horns. Right.
Okay.
Well, that little bridge section was that. The rest of it was different.
Yeah. But that was in it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This has been bugging me since yesterday.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like it sounds like familiar, but it's like not like I was like it's not 007. It's not like it sounds like kind of a mystery thing or a secret agent thing. But all I could think of was maybe Pink Panther. But I don't think. Yeah, Pink Panther's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's.
Thank you, Jake. This is so legit.
Which is funny, actually, Brad, that you mentioned that because the guy who wrote the Peter Gunn theme is Henry Mancini, and guess what? What other song that he wrote?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I heard something.
It's all connected there.
I heard something. I heard that like that sounds like that other song. Cool.
Sure enough.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Well,
so yeah,
this
is a popular one then. Yeah, like we knew it was popular. We just didn't know why.
Well, and I would say that it's not even because of that, although it can't.
That's true.
hurt.
You don't think Freddie King when you hear that lick. You know,
No.
You think of a myriad of other things, unless you're, of course, a fan.
I heard this song originally. Stevie Ray Vaughan would play this song live, and his "Couldn't Stand the Weather" album. I think it was released in like 1989. It was on that album, and I don't know if I don't think I knew that it was cover, but I figured because so many of those blues songs were so.
Yeah. That was like the standard way to do things in the music industry is a lot of covers. Maybe sometimes you write your own song here and there, but generally a lot of, divided tasks.
This one especially, according to a song review by Bill Dahl on AllMusic, he said no respectable blues band would dare mount a stage without having Hideaway in their arsenal, their principal instrumental break song. So very recognizable, and the galloping shuffle groove and singing melody and
good way to start the album. Because this would be a highly recognized track when you're starting the album.
Yeah, and this was released as a single in it says 1960 or 61, but I think this was recorded, this was released before that album was.
It was released in 61, yeah.
The album was in 61, but I think this as a single was released before the album, the entire album, and that's why they put it as the first song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, charting singles here we have Hideaway 61. So yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 singles for 1961. So that was definitely his year. Singles. And then plenty of other albums after that, of course. But
yeah. This is a very Freddie King was from Texas, and he moved to Chicago, so he got very good. Like that is I think he was 15 when he moved to Chicago. So like you get the Texas blues and you get the Chicago blues in his sound, and that's what made this. Yeah, made him sound. His nickname was the Texas Cannonball.
That's right.
And
we were considering doing the album of that title.
We'll
probably do it at some point.
It's got a really cool cover of CCR's Lodi to start off that one. So,
nice.
But they're all good stuff. But this is like such a very, very just very influential album. So,
yeah. You guys want to get on to track 2? We got.
I think I wanted to say a couple other things.
All right. What's up? What's going on with
this one in particular? This one in particular, yeah. John Mayall and Eric Clapton. This was on John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. Eric Clapton. That album that was like Eric Clapton's first group, and Eric Clapton was introduced to this song in 1963. And so that was very early for him. And instead of putting that Peter Gunn theme in. He put a loose take on the Baby Elephant Walk, apparently another song by Henry Mancini, and very popular in England. So it reached out and very, very influential with that too. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this next track is called Butterscotch, and we'll see where this might pop up.
Dang it, Brad. God
damn it. All right, here we go.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, I'll just leave the button pressed in. That was Butterscotch. Yeah, track 2. But yeah, you guys, you recognize that one. It's the boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's in stuff. I don't know what it's in, but it's definitely.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that riff before, but
well, it's kind of
anything down.
12-bar blues, right?
These are all 12-bar blues. Yeah.
It's just like it's like you jump between two, chords or scales on, 2 consecutive strings, and then you go like 2 up, and just do that over and over again. Yeah. Johnny Be Good. All that.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's like Johnny Be Good, but a lot slower. Because they're not doing it that fast yet, probably.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention earlier though, the production though. We've talked about it a little bit, and that's something that like sticks out to me more than anything is like it's very much of its time of 1961. Like it's peak for the time. But like it's also right before other giant leaps are about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like times where you hear like there's a fade out and then it just cuts like before the fade out is like naturally like concluded and or whatever. There's no reverberation anymore. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed a lot that was really throwing me off. I was like, man, it's just stopping. And the we'll get to it.
Yeah,
I'll say, I won't spoil it, but there's this particular time later in the album. But yeah, it's just, but it kind of goes to show, though,
the way
there's just, it's they're on this kind of progression of production quality and styles, and this might have been one of the first times they're doing it this way. But
yeah,
Jake?
the way that he like, so part of the like uniqueness of Freddie King's sound is he would like turn up the guitar all the way up, and then if this album's entirely to feature him, obviously, but his the way that he would like turn his sound down would be to make sure that he just plays softer with his hands, and that's very unique. This whole album, he's all the way turned up the entire time because it's that's all it's featuring him. But definitely when you cannot hear the guitar as much, it's because he is intentionally playing softer, which is something that doesn't happen a ton. With other guitarists.
There's some times where he's he is kind of muted, like maybe palm muted. Something. Yeah, I don't know.
What I like about this recording is this was like the time that they were using like old World War II recording equipment. So like, and the guys that were like in World War II are the ones like using the equipment. So there was like a lot of experience there.
Yeah.
And that's why like recording just kind of kept getting better there for like 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, there was definitely a jump when Les Paul started
Absolutely.
developing the
Yeah.
multi-track recording. I mean, there was like in the
Yeah.
late 40s, there was a complete jump in the way that people recorded and like how it was recorded, and the fact that you could do this work with the multi-track recording system. Definitely, and 10 or 15 years ago, prior to this album being released, it wouldn't have sounded so clean.
Yeah. It would have sounded like all of those really
gritty
old
tracks,
old country songs, you know.
Yeah.
I want to say, was Hank Williams the original in that time period, or was that
he's one of the OGs?
Was that when the recording
He's
was
not like the only one.
kind of grainy? It's like it's been run over by a rail, by a train or something, you know, like the sound has just been put through some kind of, I don't know, you know, it's just old timey.
If I remember correctly, Hank Williams was followed in the steps of Jimmy Rogers, and that was like wasn't in Nashville, but it was on the border of Virginia and Tennessee, I think. And like there's a town that's right on the border, and he did a lot of the recording there, and it was a lot of just running through all these songs very quick. Like it was getting the records made as fast as you could, and then selling them. And and definitely the way that you recorded was not plugging any instruments in. It's having a microphone there and singing and playing in front of it.
Yeah, like a sound stage, right?
Yeah. And
not like people, like it sounds like a live show minus the people like reacting to it live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that is different though is like when they would put in like a slide guitar, somebody sitting there and playing that is different, and the way that you'd amplify a slide guitar would sound a little bit better than the rest of the band, because it's trying to it kind of is a prelude to this guitar led sound. Like John was saying, it's like before like kind of that, like it's, you know, when people were collaborating but not necessarily like, I don't know, showing off their skills on the guitar.
It was straight collaboration usually, you know. The guitarist was just as important as the drummer, you know.
It was just a piece of music.
It was just a piece of the pie, piece of the part.
It was more about how many were in a group. You was your, you know, quartet, sextet, septet. They used to use those terms more.
We had to be creative before technology got better.
When you had big bands, and then you'd take away like different pieces, then you could feature certain types of instruments, and eventually they got to the guitar in the way that, you know, you could record it. So helped a lot.
Speaking of guitar, I think the guitar at the time was starting to become a sensation, if you know what I mean. You guys want to get on to this next track?
Yeah. I heard Got My Mojo Working in that song by I think Preston Foster wrote that song that Muddy Waters originally recorded. I heard that one in there.
Oh, okay. So it's calling back to another guitar lick.
I think that song's so much of Got My Mojo Working is a vocal track and harmonica. So that'd be the difference. But I have to be honest, the way that it is spelt out, I did not even look at it and see sensation. I read it as sensation.
You know, it took me a minute. It wasn't until like 2/4 of the way through the album about halfway through you out there, that I realized, because it said, okay, there's San Jose.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that one either.
So I went backwards, and I was like, okay, so that's San Jose, which means this one must be also a word. So,
yeah.
But I love me some word games. So yeah.
I've seen San Jose for years, and I have never read it that way. And I'm reading about this description later. I'll talk about it,
yes.
But it was one of the first.
For once, I knew something about a blues person before you did, Jake.
It was one of the first. I applaud you. Very good job.
Yes.
I did not. It talked about the first song being about San Jose, California, and I'm like, what in that song is about San Jose? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
he likes
sensation.
His
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is probably like, tongue in cheek titling as well. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably intentionally like coded in this because it's instrumental. So I mean, you don't ever.
Yeah. You could name it whatever you want. Yeah.
Exactly. It could mean anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a while, but I was like, okay, yeah, it's some fucking wordplay. Okay. But yeah, it's a really rockin' like solo song. It is just the part, especially I picked, like, is just a I don't know, maybe one of the first big explosion solos, possibly. But yeah, he really shreds in this track.
Yeah. This is one of the three kings of the blues.
Okay.
There's obviously B.B. King, and there was Albert King, and Freddie King was the third and the least known of all the three kings.
Wow.
None of them,
the three kings.
none of them related. But
when people talk about the three kings of the blues, they are literally referring to people with the last name King.
Yes.
Interesting.
There you go. The more you know, right there. Yeah.
I just assumed it was a title. I didn't know it was an actual name.
And I do think the name fits.
It is both definitely. The title and the name, Brad.
You got Martin Luther King Jr., as well. So a lot of great kings going on.
A lot of great kings here, fellows.
In that time period. Yeah. Man.
There was a few other kings. There's Earl King wrote a song that Come On, Let the Good Times Roll, that song.
Were there people that started naming themselves with the last name King for music?
Yeah. There was actually a guy, I think he's 80 now, but he named himself Little Freddie King.
Little Freddie King?
Yeah.
Wait, and Little Freddie King is 80 now.
80 now. Yep. Yeah. So I was looking.
Did he like immediately do this when Freddie got famous?
I don't know exactly, but I was looking through like, research, doing my research, and it's like Little Freddie King. Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
So
yeah. And he's very old as well.
Yeah. And he is very old.
Yeah.
Wow.
For reference, Freddie King was born in 34, and he died at the age of 42 in 1976.
Yeah, stomach ulcer.
Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital.
Yeah, he lived a very very hard life.
Was that before they had like meds for ulcers?
Well, this is what Freddie said about his diet.
Okay.
He liked they told him that they're like, Freddie, you really need to eat like some good food, and he's like, well, he's like, I drink a lot of and eat a lot of Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
He told the journalist, and he said they've got food in them. And
yeah.
And enough of those Bloody Marys, and
Yeah.
it just keep on very stressful lifestyle on the road for so many years. Just it's unfortunate
Yeah.
we lost him that young.
Freddie Gibbs. Or Freddie Gibbs. No. This is not Freddie Gibbs. This is blues man.
Freddie King.
Yeah.
Freddie King, i.e., on the album, at this point, he was Freddie with a Y. So I don't know.
That's what it says. That's what it looks like on the cover.
Yeah, I don't know what spurred the change, but he changed that. So very I wondered why, and I haven't found out yet. So if anybody knows why.
Maybe it was a legal thing.
Yeah, possibly, sure.
Maybe with the Freddie with a Y, he was under a contract, and Freddie with an IE was free to mingle.
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't know.
And you never know. He recorded under King Records in Cincinnati, Ohio, which I did not know was. I mean, I guess every town has its own, record studio, but
yeah.
King Records also discovered James Brown, so pretty big record.
So they wanted to continue to be a big part of the scene.
Yeah. And then they did until 1975. Okay. And then I don't know what happened at that point, but it says they released original material until then. But,
yeah. Okay. Well, you want to get sidetracked? What do you guys think?
I think we get sidetracked enough, but we might as well.
Well, this time I really think we should. So here we go.
My God.
Oh man.
He's shredding.
Yeah, I would say he was shredding on the last track, but this is he's going.
Well, I really like the sound on the last track, but like that little guitar sound that we got in there that almost sounds like distortion, but it's not, But this is just him really shredding,
Yeah. Well, and I feel like you can almost hear it clipping too, because it's so intense for the equipment of the time, because it's not, at this point it's made more for acoustic stuff, right? It's not really built for electronic versions of these things. It's built to capture an acoustic performance. Obviously they've been making progress and stuff, but yeah, you can definitely hear it though, really tear up this sound equipment with his intensity. But yeah,
I heard you love the song. Sorry.
I love this solo in this song.
Yeah.
It's a very forward thinking kind of solo.
I heard elements of his song "I'm Tore Down," and that was another one that Eric Clapton would cover.
Okay.
Freddie King sings that first album. That another one that we thought about doing. It's included on that album as well.
Yeah,
so
that came out the same year as this one, 1961.
Yep.
So he had his instrumental and his sings. So you got best of both worlds. Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, if I'm at a party, I don't know. If I was at a party, I can't say I've been at a party where a whole lot of blues music has been played. I wish I was.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is not the party bangers these days. Especially.
I've tried to play.
I believe that.
I've done it sometimes at parties. But
yeah.
It's usually not straight up blues. It's more like Latin jazz type stuff, which is it's kind of similar in a way because it's instrumental and it's older and but
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that
I
for
mean,
sitting and smoking your
what's nice-
stogies while you're sipping on wine?
yeah, well, I think what's accessible about this is that since it doesn't have the vocals, you don't feel like the pressure to listen to the
Yeah.
message. There's
totally.
you can just have this on in the background and just relax and just talk
Yeah.
to people. And because sometimes certain music, if it's something I really enjoy, I'm listening to the vocals, I'm like paying attention to that stuff, and it maybe distracts me if I'm at a party. But
Yep. No, totally.
yeah, throw this on in the background at the right volume.
Yeah, I think this would be great. Yeah.
Maybe do a little dumb little dances, do the twist a little bit. I don't know.
Hide away and dance away.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe do a stumble. The stumble.
You'll be
That's the
stumbling
dance.
late enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the stumble is his dance track? Like his response to the twist?
I don't twist, I stumble. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Freddie King's making a lot of jokes here that we're just not not really, taking to heart,
I heard this song. I don't remember where I heard it, but I was like, this song's really good. I need to buy the song. I think I actually bought it on iTunes at one point.
Yeah, it's a fun track.
This was the first one off of this album that I really was like, I need to buy this one and really recognize Freddie King. There was other ways that I knew Freddie King, and through the years, just more and more kept lining up to where I'm like, I need to know this guy's music and really listen to it. But
yeah, you hear enough artists like reference a particular artist enough, you're like, wait, what's the deal with those guys?
Yeah.
Like King Crimson, like that was one for me where I'd never heard them directly before. Really, it's just like all the classic rock people like worship the ground they walked on or something. So and when you do hear it, you're like, oh yeah, I see it, I understand. Yeah, I see where the thread goes. But
it's what our rock gods listen to,
Yeah.
The way I kind of look at some of this stuff that, like, some of the stuff that we've covered from this era.
Yeah. And I think with art in general, you're always trying to, recreate the people's art that inspired you. You just inevitably do it differently. You know what I mean? And then you inspire someone else that does it a little bit differently, and it just gets tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. But anyway, let's get on to track 5, though. This is The Stumble. Yeah. We chose a classic end of a 60s song.
Yeah. Another one that was recorded by the Yardbirds, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, in 1967. Luther Allison, Jeff Beck, from the Twins soundtrack, that classic movie,
Oh, where Arnold and
Danny DeVito are twins.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I believe they're still twins. But
I think does anybody remember Back to the Future, when he first kind of gets into the dance and the band is just kind of playing a song on the stage?
Yeah.
I think this is that guitar riff.
Like before stuff goes down.
Yeah. He's just like in the dance, just like kind of sitting there like this, like figuring it out, like what's going on, and the band is playing. Maybe it's from Back to the Future 2. Oh, I know it. Oh.
Well, I mean,
we'll have to do some research,
but I mean, Back to the Future 1 is Back to the Future 2. Like,
that's right. That's good
it would be the same thing, because they cut that minute to minute, so it's the same songs. But I think you're right. It is something kind of like this. Very like it's either this or something like it because it's very like
it's that same
less he's not soloing nearly as much. He's not like, shredding as much.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice little like chill but energetic dance number. Maybe this is a dance. I'm thinking more and more this might be a dance that someone would know. But
yeah,
there's no way to confirm that, and I'm not going to Google it.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is from Back to the Future because it would have been like later. They wouldn't have included in it. I mean, they mistakenly gave Marty the wrong guitar in that film. That guitar that he's playing was made like 2 years after that film was like supposed to take place.
Oh, it was a 67?
Yeah. 50s.
Right.
It was like a 58, I think, was when that guitar was made, and then
right, 55.
It was like 55, yeah.
Okay.
Night Train, I think, was maybe that song. I don't know.
Probably a lot of random stuff like that, isn't there? So, but yeah, you're right. It would have been early though. Like it would have been early for the future, technically. But
Night Train by Marvin Berry and the Starlighters was that song.
Wait, what? Oh, the song.
The song that was in Back to the Future. Yeah.
All right.
So
you got your answer, John. It's close though. It's similar style.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you, Jake.
1952, 56, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Jake's got the facts.
Me and my 20 tabs now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. I got a lot of tabs. Too many tabs. But what happens if you close them? You don't have the information anymore.
Yeah, that's right. You
got to keep them all open. But
the stumble.
Sometimes though, you should wash out your tabs.
Yeah, my computer just started like not working properly. If I don't shut it down, like I have to restart it every time I want the camera to work. So I've tried to get better at that.
Oh, one thing I was going to mention before we move on. This one, the last track, we used the end of the song to kind of like remind people like this is kind of an era in music where there is always a definitive ending of a song too, like they bring it to a close. There is a logical conclusion, like 5 seconds.
Or at least a last time through.
Yeah.
If you see like the band leader and they're on stage, and I don't know if in which who would have done it in this set of musicians, but it's somebody that was like would hold up their fist and be like, okay, this is like, this is the last time through. And then Freddie kind of takes it into, when they stop and he just kind of flows to the end.
Yeah. It's a more structured time in music. When live, you're going to be doing a lot of ad-libbing and a lot of solo breaks for different people, depending on how you feel that night. Every show is probably different, as it is with like jazz and blues in general, for live settings.
Right.
Because, when you don't have to worry about recording a 3-minute snippet for the radio, it's like, it's a different kind of thing.
Right. So it was more than like all these songs on this record are like capped at what? 3 minutes, 14 seconds, I think is the longest one looking at this now.
I think the Ventures also had tracks about this short. I remember.
Yeah. Well, and I guess because they are instrumentals, they're going to be shorter theoretically.
They start to definitely push it a little bit as you get further in the 60s. Like you're able to get like 3.5, 4 minutes on the radio, But this one, they're like, no, 4 minutes. No, we're not doing.
Yeah. Well,
the radio.
There's something that I always taught in my radio broadcasting class that I pulled from teachrock.org or something. And there's a clip of somebody saying if it was over 3 minutes, like it wasn't getting played. And then Bob Dylan released like a Rolling Stone, and that was like 6 minutes. And they're like, "You're not. This can, this isn't going to get played." And then it got played. It did.
And then everybody loved it because it was Bob Dylan.
No, and then everyone before Bob Dylan's like, "What the hell?
See,
what the hell, guys? What? He gets away, but what about us?"
Yeah, and I think part of that,
I would be so pissed if I was a musician that could not get certain songs, and then Bob Dylan all of a sudden just like, what? He gets away with it?
I think part of that was like the whole because of the sound getting better, like FM radio was so much better and is so much better than AM. And you could play a song, it wasn't about hyped up like disc jockey like hyping up a song. It's more about the music.
The music speak for itself.
Yeah.
Well, we got one more track before we go on to a little break, and that last track is Washout. You guys ready for track 6? Washout.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Yeah.
Kind of like a washout sound with the way that he's kind of.
Yeah. It's kind of I can see some of the Stevie Ray Vaughan being influenced by this in this track, like some of his guitar styles when he's not soloing. But
I really like the backing band. Like most of the people that were used in the backing band for this this album, because
There's a
it's
couple good moments.
They're very solid, and they really show why people want to learn other instruments too. Like not everybody wants to be a guitarist. Nobody wants to learn how to play not everybody, Brad. But you know what I mean. Like most people don't want to just learn how to play a solid bass or a good, drum anymore.
Yeah. No, it's there's
and the piano, the guy that did like most of the piano work for this is really
Fred Jordan was the second
solid
guitar player. Bill Willis was the bass guitarist. Philip Paul on drums, Gene Red, and Clifford Scott on sax. And there's a later track that's like got some of the Barry sax that fills in. I think as part of the bass line too.
He pretty much had the same band for the whole album, right?
Interesting.
From what I've seen,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Sonny Thompson is the I discovered him through researching this album. He was born in like 1916, so he was significantly older than a lot of these guys, and had his own charting hits. Again, the piano player, he had a couple songs that were hits in like the mid 40s, 46 and 48. Okay. Two number one R&B chart hits. So,
okay, he's got like a good team behind him.
Yeah, no, I think when I was talking about like the person to hold up the fist or the band leader, I should have said this. It was Sonny Thompson. That was the guy. So.
Okay.
He wrote a lot of these songs too, or at least partially.
Okay. Yeah, I saw his name in the side. So he was an important dude.
Yeah, very, very important.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, I like the excuse me. I don't know why I went to the mic right when I was going to yawn.
That's infectious, Brad.
I enjoy the piano as well. You can tell like there's like you can't really hear it too much in the mix, but like it's there. It's like doing like really specific intricate things, and I think sometimes I thought that the Barry sax was a bass or a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't think I noticed there was a Barry sax necessarily.
Isn't that nice how it's all meshing well?
I think later, I didn't hear it on. I didn't hear it on more than one song. I think there's one song in particular that I'm thinking there was Barry sax on.
Okay.
And I was wrong. I was reading from the wrong album. I was reading from Freddie King Sings. So officially, Fred Jordan is guitar and rhythm guitar. It lists again Freddie King singing guitar and vocals on this album that is instrumentals, so it doesn't make any sense. Philip Paul on drums, Gene Reed on sax, Clifford Scott on sax, Sonny Thompson on piano again, and Willis Williams on bass. Actually, on this album,
was that a different list of people? Because I'm not familiar.
Just a little bit. It was a little.
Okay. All right.
It was a little bit. I didn't want. I don't.
Recordings. It's fine. There's just a lot of.
I don't want anybody to be upset.
Oh yeah. No, we don't want to leave anyone out. Like that's one thing that I often will like mention just like the lead singer's name of a band or something, because it's just a lot more names to write down. But I've been trying to write that down more. But yeah, no, it's I'm sure that these are, big names in the game. You can really hear them supporting each other really well up there. But it's I like this kind of lull in the middle a little bit. It's kind of like the last few tracks have been like a little more chill, because like tracks 3 and 4 just like rip so hard, yeah so I think though the next track is going to be getting back into that kind of rip roaring good time, because it's San Jose. So yeah I'm excited.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
I don't know the way to San Jose. I'd have to type it in Google Maps or something. But it's gonna take a while to get there, and it's kind of bad down there. I think, from what I understand, it's not doing good down there. Texas has seen better days. What I'm saying.
Texas has seen warmer days. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're probably mostly good.
Sad.
But
it's scary. That's some scary stuff.
Yeah. You guys want to take a quick break and then get into the second half of this thing?
Sure.
Well,
what's up?
It's not it's San Jose, as in San Jose in California, right?
Is that California?
I think so.
I thought it was New Mexico. Are there 2 San Jose's?
I was thinking it was maybe one. Texas.
I think it's.
Wait, I thought New Mexico. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's San Jose, California.
Okay.
I think.
Fair enough.
But I mean, there might be a San Jose, Texas. Just not known as well.
I think I Googled this. It's California. I don't know why I thought it was Texas. I guess.
Well, he's from Texas. Yeah, it's a Texas blues album. Of 75 albums on the there's like 75 blues or Texas albums.
Yeah.
This is number 6 on that chart. So
okay.
So why wouldn't it be about
Texas? So, also, I was just doing Tejas, the ZZ Top album, so that's probably
sure.
How'd that go? Tejas.
Yeah, it was good. Was
it about Texas?
Yeah, there's definitely. I think it gets the Sufjan seal of approval.
The guys from ZZ Top actually inducted Freddie King into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
So there's a tie in there.
Yeah, they definitely are influenced by this. They're using a much different production style, though. That's the biggest difference, I think.
Dusty Hill. I think he said
different.
He got to meet. They got to meet him when like they were young, and he took them under his wing and like were really great to him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, Dusty Hill. That's such a great name. Yeah, Dusty Hill. With the hill over there.
That's got to be
Dusty.
They all have fantastic. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
The one I do when I saw ZZ Top in concert, I think with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the one that always got me the most was their drummer, Frank Beard, the man with no beard.
The man with no beard. I remember that.
You discussed that on the Side B episode.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. How could you not? But if you guys want to listen to that, go on over to patreon.com/flyoverstatepark or check us out on Tuesdays live on twitch.tv/rawevilgaming. Anyway, with that said, I think I might as well take us out of here, right?
Finally to the half. Yeah.
We will be at our break, and we have 6 more tracks for you. Are you guys ready for the second half of this?
Ready.
All right. Welcome back to the Album Concept Hour. I am your host, Brad LeBaron, and we have our co-host, John. What's going on, John? Welcome back.
Oh, just chilling in the room, man.
How was your break?
Having a good time.
You have a good break?
It was a good break. I got some fresh air.
It's good.
It's good, it's not freezing outside anymore.
That's good. That's good.
So, yeah.
And then we have our co-host, Jake. What's going on, Jake? How was your break?
It was good. Break was good.
A little breather.
Yeah.
Between these two halves of this rockin' album.
Got
Freddie
some
King.
agua. Yeah.
Yeah. I got some agua as well. That's what we're drinking. We're not going to make a big thing of it tonight. We got Freddie King, and we're doing Let's Hide Away and Dance Away. Although I do think grammatically, I feel like it should be Let's Hide and Dance Away, but that's what I keep on wanting to call it.
But that title or the first track on this is Hideaway, so you gotta,
yeah, you know what?
That's why.
You're right. It wouldn't have been the other way.
The whole dancing the night away or dancing away theme of that era is. It's why they
that era's version of
Why don't we steal away?
Like Saturday Night in like disco.
Yeah.
It's like their version of that. It's in everything. Always something about the night away. But you guys want to get into this next track though? I believe it is a kind of one that a lot of people refer to as important, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this one?
I would say a lot of these.
It is. It's another one of those singles.
And Eric Clapton both talk about.
Yeah.
This is
Jerry Garcia. I think this one in particular. He cited Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead cited this one that inspired him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good. Owen Wilson. Wow. All right. San Jose.
Just picking away at it.
Yeah. Now this is where I see people doing the twist and fucking, doing those moves where they're throwing each other.
The dance halls
stuff. Yeah. This kind of reminds me of the Wonders a bit too. Some of the
it does.
Some of those early scenes in the Wonders, you see them at more local clubs and stuff. And more
doing those local talent shows and such.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this definitely. I think. The next one reminds me of the Beatles a little bit. But the Beatles definitely listened to this. They were obviously in love with all of the rock legends from the U.S. But yeah.
A lot of these blues artists got so much more play in the UK because there was not that there's no racism over there, but they just got more radio play and I don't remember exactly. Yeah. The way that if he toured over there exactly at this time, but that's how they became so influential, and they got play over there. They went over there. They got people buying the records, and then they came back to the U.S.
Man! I mean, you look at the Stones and the Beatles. Their biggest influences are some of our early blues. Some American early blues artists.
Yeah, yeah, and also there's the U.S. bases all around that are that's where some of that stuff would get distributed. Yeah, yeah, a lot of
influence spread throughout the world.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so this would have, and it would have, this is what it takes. It might take a little while for something to get to another part of the world too. So there's explosions of certain sounds happening here and other sounds happening there, and without any knowledge of one another sometimes. But yeah, I wonder, is this do you think this is supposed to sound like a California kind of tune? San Jose? I think he's trying to capture California kind of surf.
Yeah, definitely a little surf guitar in there, a little that feeling.
Yeah,
as you said, like that bebop, dancing by the beach by the fire.
Yeah, it makes you want to do some weird jerky dance moves. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. In some overly conservative outfits.
Yeah. His nickname is the Texas Cannonball once again, and I really think every time you listen to it and you're like, yep, I can see why that's his nickname. Totally, yeah, totally see it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you guys want to get on to track 8? This is Just Pickin', and this one for some reason reminded me of the Beatles. So let's hear what I'm talking about.
Definitely more straight up.
Yeah, I could see
like early Beatles stuff.
Yeah, I could see like early Paul McCartney singing this.
I thought I heard what I'd say in that song, the Ray Charles song.
Oh, okay.
I thought
that too.
But it was definitely something else that I was trying to listen for and I couldn't hear it. Couldn't identify it.
I think I hear that the Beatles song. It's a shame. I can't remember the lyrics right now, but like, that riff is very like distinct for me.
Yeah. Do they do? I think it's also the recording quality. Like earlier Beatles, kind of, some of it does have this, lower fi quality to it.
Yeah, well, they were like playing the like blues 12-bar blues standards and getting playing in the dance clubs, and that's was such an early part of their sound.
Yeah, and they obviously changed and whatever, but they grew up on this. Like they worshipped this stuff.
Chuck Berry
grew up around them.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just picking because of like finger picking, like the guitar?
Yeah, and just picking, just playing and just picking and
picking along.
Yeah.
Just dancing around, picking.
Yeah.
But I just want to take a moment though to give a shout out to one particular person out there on the Genius forums. Someone out there took the time to put in every single track of this album, which is an instrumental album. They put instrumental on every single one. So I just want to congratulate what was his name here? Sir Chuckwagon. Thank you so much for giving these instrumental lyrics. And he's a big guy too. He's one of the top dogs here, it seems. He's got 73,429 IQ. So that's
fantastic.
A lot of lyrics out there that he's throwing up. And I have a feeling that
you don't get that without doing with the instrumental. Yeah.
I need to buff up my IQ with those instrumental tracks is what I need to do. All right. So yeah, I got my next week set out for me. You guys want to get on to
Or songs like Tequila?
Yeah, tequila. Yeah, that would be pretty easy. It's just tequila, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just over and over again. That's probably someone's priority. I got to find something more obscure than that. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, you guys want to get on to track 9? Heads up. I'm God damn it. I'm clicking the lyrics now for the next track for no reason whatsoever. So let's get into Heads Up. He's fucking destroying them drums though. Like he is like he's hitting them hard. He's like, I'm gonna get picked up by that mic. All right, don't you worry. But yeah, nice drum solo here. Just to display someone else's cool abilities.
Nice showcase of the rhythm section in general again,
Yeah. It's very heavy. It is a very just I don't know, everything about it feels like thicker and heavier than some of the other tracks because of that, I think. But yeah. Jake, are you talking? Jake, we can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, I had a cat situation.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I saw your kitty behind you.
Yeah. There's our two girls are not getting along. It's been like 6 months. There's no reason, but whatever. Yeah. So sorry, but I think I don't know what I was saying. I was quoting that this was the next song because it was so out in the open, but then it wasn't that song. It's pretty Heads Up of
you know
me.
What?
So
you know what really bothers me about albums from this time or but just back in the day, they have on the cover the songs listed, right?
Yeah.
They're not listed in the order that the songs are on the album. And that happens for a lot of albums, like vinyl. Like for some reason at that time, they're like, they put the best one on the top and then they I don't know, maybe go down to the least popular or something. But
that's what I would guess the order would be.
That's what sold. The singles, you put the ones that were the single in there.
You put the singles as the ones that are gonna pop. Like, oh, that song's on it. Maybe I should buy it.
I'll buy it. Yeah.
The thing is, I see that on newer stuff. Like they have oh, this is the album with this. So there's a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
But this album in particular, it has every track on the cover. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just a little nitpicky thing. It's before they. Maybe they got the cover together before they decided upon the which order things were going to go. I don't know, but that's my little nitpick for the podcast. I'll get a theme together at some other point in the future. But yeah, that was Heads Up. Yeah. You guys want to just move on to the next one? I don't got much to say about Heads Up.
Yeah,
sounds good.
No Heads Up, 7 Up.
Yeah. This is In the Open. And I'm clicking the next track's lyrics again. Here's In the Open.
Very clean. I wrote down cutting sound. The chord strumming.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like you expect blues to sound.
Yeah.
There's like some minor chords there, I think. Like it's like the last track, it's like another like very kind of feels very bassy, rhythm heavy production.
The drum, the snare, like it's like a train.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that fits. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, the whole band is fucking really killing it in this track. Really working.
Cooking.
Yeah, just cooking. Yeah.
I really like how they both come through very well.
Who the
both the guitar and that, like, you know, again, just commenting on the nice, like, overall meshing of everything in this album.
Yeah.
You know?
Is there a sax
really
in there?
Here, I was wondering the same thing.
Is there sax in the background of that or anything?
That might have been the one. Can you play it again, maybe, and we could try to hear it?
Let's listen for the sax, guys. See if you can hear it, if it's there.
Not that particular part.
No.
That must not be the one. There's one in here. Might be the next one. That's the one that I heard the Barry on.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's this one's in the open. The next one's out front. It's like they kind of go together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Secret
up,
code.
Open out front, and then swooshy.
Just swooshy.
Well, let's see if this makes any sense as a sentence. Hide away, butterscotch. Sensation, sidetrack the stumble. Wash out, San Jose. Just picking heads up in the open out front, swooshy. Does that sound like a sentence?
Sure.
Like, if that made any sense to anyone out there, kudos to you.
Swooshy.
But
especially the person that's nickname was Swooshy. I hope is a nickname.
Swooshy is, I was gonna say that's gotta be a nickname. I hope it is. If so, this is a great nickname.
Swooshy.
Yeah.
There's something in the Civil War, they like one of the two sides made like swoosh or something.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which side it was, but wasn't there like in the movie and the book Holes, wasn't there like a
sploosh?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Sploosh.
Yeah. So that's what I think of when I think of swooshy.
What he named his foot odor thing, because that's what the kid named the peach juice that he was drinking.
There you go.
Oh.
Man, that shit must have been alcohol. I stand he was drinking alcohol.
I mean,
it was aged. It's peaches that sat in a can for like 100 years.
Yeah, no, they were getting trashed, is what was happening. But
yes,
children's book
feels really good.
But that totally explains why he like collapsed like halfway up the mountain. He was totally like dehydrated. the alcohol wore off. His poor tiny body couldn't handle it anymore.
Poor Shia LaBeouf. Was that Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
No, there was Shia LaBeouf, and it was but the other kid was the one that like collapsed like halfway up.
Oh, okay.
Zero? Was
Zero? Yeah. It was the kid that played Zero.
Yeah. I remember all of this. I
It's
remember
a
when it
great
came
book.
out. I remember Shia LaBeouf doing his Shia LaBeouf thing.
Shia LaBeouf.
One of his more serious roles, actually, as a young man. It was one
it was one of his better roles too. It was
first
quite
one
good.
after even Stevens, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And before
it was a Disney movie.
Yeah. But yeah, this next one is Out Front. Here we go.
kind of tell that he's pretty out front with the guitar on that one.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like it's a little bit ahead of the rest. He's kind of leading more than normal. I don't know.
Yeah, this one kind of reminded me of maybe something from either the band in some of their tracks or Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, the band The Last Waltz, I mean, of course.
Right.
But definitely some Stevie Ray Vaughan, like Texas country western, whatever that's called. Like vibe to me. But I don't know. Like it feels modern, feels like it's maybe a few years ahead, streets ahead, if you will.
Yeah.
But John, I have a note here that says you wanted to talk about DIY, or like the idea of teaching yourself.
Oh yeah. Well, no, because I remember thinking about like how this whole album, because of how like kind of simplistic it is in nature, of like that you could really like buy it, and there's no lyrics on it, so you could really buy it and just like learn how to play with the album as you're playing it on vinyl. I imagine it's how helped a lot of self-taught guitarists learn, or even bassists, or drummers.
Yeah, that could be part of the reason that it is so prolific, because of the fact that, like this album in particular, I mean, because of the fact that there are no vocals and the guitar is the focus of the album. Like, you hear it loud and clear up front.
And even like an experienced guitar person can really kind of like listen to it and go, I want to do that. How does he do that? And people from that generation, like learning like that, that's how you learn other tricks too, because you kind of learn something in the way you're trying to, because you don't know what you're doing. You're not watching somebody. You're trying to learn it from ear,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
so many of these bands definitely took this album and all these blues I mean, the ones that we talked about earlier, the San Jose, the Hideaway, like they definitely included these songs in their repertoire so they could go to them when they needed a song in the middle of a set, to be a blues jam.
Yeah. They probably knew which ones were the ones you wanted to get, everyone out front for a solo, which ones were jammier. Like, was this before the psychedelics started happening?
Yeah,
I think this is like right before, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this is
because that's changed everything, I think.
I mean, I think like the way that Cream kind of which again, Eric Clapton was kind of that the way that they used the amp and distorted some of their sound was Eric was such an influenced by Freddie a lot, so I mean there's definitely part of that too. Yeah. Somebody said here, this is just a user review, Ethan Burke from All the Music said that it just makes you want to dance. And it's in 1961, the energetic, playful instrumental blues hadn't been done before. So it's something that definitely all those bands could use for all, for a song in between.
Yeah, because I mean the blues is supposed to be depressing in its like purest form, right? Like about, being down in the dumps, right? But the style of the blues is prolific, regardless of the content in like rock and roll,
Yeah, I think the way that he plays a lot of these songs, a lot of them are pretty up tempo, but like the again, the way that he plays is so you can feel the emotion
Yeah.
from the way he plays. And I think when I get like my like feels, like I get my goosebumps and my like really like I just feel the music. That's when I feel it, is because of either somebody's voice that, you know, I can just feel the emotion through their voice, or somebody's guitar playing like this.
Yeah. Like we were talking about, being your instrument being your voice, like is definitely his voice. And I haven't heard much of his like actual voice, so I'm excited to hear this with his voice that is apparently better than his guitar playing.
I couldn't pick.
Well, I haven't.
I think
I don't know. So
yeah. Well,
that's fantastic.
It'll be interesting. The way that his voice mirrors his guitar playing is like you can tell what he's trying to do by the way he's playing, from what a person that's listened to lots of him singing.
Yeah. Okay, man. I think we should do it's like a 3-part maybe.
Of
like,
each of these, sure.
Like you know, separate them out or whatever, but like do this one, then do the Freddie King Sings, and then do the Cannonball one.
The Texas Cannonball, yeah.
If
anybody watched that show Eastbound and Down by that's got
I'm aware of it.
It was on HBO.
Yeah.
And about Danny McBride, right? Yeah, the theme song, the opening going down, is Freddie King. So,
okay,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've heard.
Fun fact of the day.
I've heard one Freddie King song.
There you go.
All right, cool. You guys want to hear one more though? One more for this album. We have our good friend Swooshy. You guys ready for Swooshy?
Swooshy.
Yeah.
That's
this one
definitely
had
the sax.
Yeah, this one had the Barry sax. Yep.
That's where it was. By the way, you might have noticed something there that's a little different. It just kind of stops the song, like
at the end.
It's like mid note change, kind of like it is like the most awkward ending of an album I think that I've heard. But I'm gonna chalk it up to like, the recording technique back then. Like I don't know why, necessarily you would have made this as a choice, but I don't know. What do you think about that, Jake? It's like
maybe they didn't think this was going to be the last one. I don't know why you'd end a song period abruptly like that, but
someone like just screams right at that moment, and they were just like, "Oh, we got to cut off that scream." After everything after that's just awful.
Yeah.
Well, I still stand that they might not have even known the order when they were doing it. They very well could have recorded these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somebody just put it together in the studio.
Yeah. But I
order
think
was not as important back then before conceptualness was part of music.
They were trying to capture a live thing. They were trying to capture the spirit of this live thing that they had created. And I think that, there's probably, it's also, certain like production techniques maybe aren't being followed or something. Like it's a live setting, so any number of things could have happened. But yeah, it is very interesting to me though that like, because I thought that like it was maybe like a rip from a record or something, and like someone just like, but then it was on Spotify, and I was like, oh well, I mean, it can't be just a rip from a record if it's on Spotify, right?
Yeah, it could have been a jam. Like they were just jamming, and then they had been recording, and then they're like, well, we got to stop it here. This is all we've got time for on this side of the record or whatever.
Oh, you know what? That makes more. Yeah. Like it was like a maybe 10-minute jam or something, or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole album is like 33 minutes long. So, so it's not like, I don't know, depending on the way that it was, I guess it was formatted. Maybe that's all they, could include.
Yeah. I'm just checking how long the track is. It's
2 minutes and 19 seconds.
I mean, it's still pretty short even for the standard they have. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just something that I kept noticing. Like it just on the fade outs, it wouldn't go all the way for most of the fade outs. It would like cut off.
Track wouldn't let you go all the way.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's an amazing album. A lot of really like cool guitar work that is, obviously lifted and then expanded upon by like future artists and artists of the day. But yeah, you can hear kind of elements of a lot of different things coming together, and you can see kind of like different iterations of what's to come in rock music. So,
and different iterations of the blues. I mean, you don't get this sound if Freddie King doesn't grow up in Texas and then moves to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then works as a sideman and
fusion of elements. Yeah.
Said at one point, I don't know did I say this, that he was turned down because they said that his voice sounded too much like BB King.
Oh.
And so they wouldn't give him a contract. And
what?
Yeah, and then eventually he caught on. Within the last year, they released an album of him being a sideman for these two ladies, African American R&B blues singers.
Okay.
So
he became the guitarist for them instead? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at that point, like that's what he did, and then eventually caught on as a solo artist.
Yeah. Okay.
With I guess it's Federal recorded him, Federal Records, and then I think the King label, the King Records is who he was signed for. So signed to.
Yeah. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, no, you sound too much like this guy. It's like,
another King. Yeah.
Screw you.
Right.
It's really funny because it's so like that's not what the music industry is today. Like a sound comes out and then other companies go, it's got to sound like that person. It's got to sound like that group. We got to rip them off so we can get in some of that action.
You mean the fact that they're like chasing the dragon at this point?
Yes.
Like they're like they remember the yesteryear of the the millennium, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when it was like, oh, we can just make the trends and then make people follow them. It's just like we don't really, I don't care.
Yeah, so it said that he was
listen to something from 1950.
He was rejected by Chess Records, who's the big label in Chicago.
Ooh,
like the premier blues label. Home Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter.
Yeah.
And
okay.
This is like
what's her name?
Late 50s.
At last.
Etta James.
Etta James, yep. She was there too.
Yeah. Damn. It's a significant group.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Chicago. There's a lot of stuff. That happened in Chicago.
There's a lot of money flowing through Chicago.
Yeah.
That's what always attracts the gangs.
The Midwest's very own New York.
Yeah. Freddie King Day, September 3rd, 1993, was declared by and Richards, the governor of Texas. So big time. And also Freddie King, 15th in Rolling Stone magazine's list of 100 greatest guitarists of all time. So that's the influence and legacy of.
Well, at least he's on the list
of this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get to discover more of his stuff, but this is the pure instrumental. And
yeah.
This was a good introduction to it either way.
We got 2 more bluesy episodes, and we'll have lyrics and context with those ones. This was kind of it's more of us talking about our feelings about the music and less.
I like these albums. They're nice. It's a nice break from the real intellectual stuff that we're trying to do sometimes.
I don't want to think hard all the time, guys. I want to like relax and like, hear some
unwind.
To be honest, 90% of the time that's what I do with the other ones too. But this just gives me an excuse to not have to do that. The lyrics are always secondary for me. Like I'm 90% of the time.
I'm a big lyrics guy, obviously.
I'm
started this podcast. I was someone that was triggered by the song Ironic, because it wasn't ironic.
Oh, so triggered.
I was a dick about it.
Such a big issue, that episode.
It's fine. I don't.
Is it ironic, Brad?
I don't think I was a dick about it in the episode. Tell me if I was.
No, you weren't. You weren't at all a dick about it. It was just. I poked the bear a couple times.
Well, we had to talk about it at least.
Yes.
This is let's just get into our last segment though before we get out of here, since we're talking about some stuff we're listening to. I am listening to just the Desert Island Discord playlist. I need you guys to head on over to the Discord, which is in the description. And when you jump in, just give us your Desert Island.
Boy, you must be like 3/4 the way through that playlist there, Brad.
No, it's a big playlist. I need to get on it though and add some more though. But yeah, we have a lot of good stuff in the wings. And it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify. It keeps growing, and I keep listening to it. But I'd like to listen to other things at some point. So if you guys could just get me like 50 people in the Discord, we're at like 36, I think, in the Discord. I haven't checked in a minute, but we're getting there, and we need more music suggestions from you guys. That's about all I got. patreon.com/flyoverstatepark. Check it out for get episodes, and then check out Side B every Tuesday, 7:30 Central at twitch.tv/Raw Evil Gaming. We are continuing the 50 States project that Sufjan Stevens left by the wayside, and we actually have check our backlog. Joey Clift was on the podcast and talking about the various Our 50 States project things that he did. Really fun episode. Really great guy. That's it. That's my plugs. What do you got, Jake? What are you listening to? What are you plugging?
Well, I have always know what I'm plugging.
Okay.
But same as usual. But because of the plugs,
I don't.
Well, I will talk about it. There's a couple tracks. This Jim Croce song called "Careful Man," which I actually listened to the lyrics about. So I don't know. I'm changing. My fiance Kayla's into the lyrics, and I've been more listening to him. But that song, definitely, he talks about not going out, not being out late, not going to the bars, not doing a whole lot, and connecting with that one.
Yeah.
So it's a good song. Champagne and Wine from Otis Redding. And then some Derek and the Dominoes and Eric Clapton, because part of Under the Covers is we're doing this new featurette on like certain artists, and we're going to do Eric Clapton is the plan to do like his work with different groups next, all the groups that he worked with before he went solo. So That's the plan. That's all on the Spotify feed under the covers with Jake the Snake Foster. And so if you want to listen to the show, the radio show, it's all on a podcast form as well as being on 91.7 WSUM on Wednesday mornings or on Sunday afternoons on WISY.
Terrestrial radio for you guys.
Yes. I told my parents to listen to the podcast, and they're like, I just would rather listen to you on the radio at a certain time. And I'm like, that's fine. But
maybe they have a whole ritual. Maybe
they do. It's 6 a.m. on Wednesday mornings. It's what they do. But
wake up.
But if you don't want to wake up in the early hours or the afternoon, if you're doing something on Sundays, can't listen on WISY. The podcast version of the show is always there, and mostly it's the same. There's only a few exceptions. So
yeah.
But
nice.
Please listen.
What about you, John? What are you listening to, and what do you got to plug?
I've been listening to a little Blink 182 a lot on my 90s radio.
Okay. Any particular album or era?
Yeah, just that early 2000s stuff,
Okay. Okay. One of these days we'll talk about Blink 182, and I will expose too much of myself in the information I share. But what else are you listening to?
Or
just
not much. Just
so I didn't mean to press you if you didn't have another one on the list.
No. It's all good. No, I just the heck was I thinking about? Oh, I even had a thought and I just lost it.
But we got Falcon and the Soldier, the wintry one. The Soldier.
Oh yes, the Falconer and the Cold Soldier.
Cold Soldier and the Falcon. Yeah. Coming out, by now we've seen most of it, if not all of it. I just realized. Yes. But I can't tell you anything about it, obviously, because no spoilers.
No spoilers. We know nothing.
Yeah, we are wiping our brains of any information regarding that. But
otherwise, plug Talking Highly. Listen to my friend's podcast.
Yeah. Have you ever said
listen to us?
Where that's on? Is that on Anchor? Is that on Google?
Oh dang it!
Is that on?
I know he's on Spotify. That's where I listen.
He's on Spotify. All right. Yeah, Talking Highly
on Spotify for sure. Yeah. I think he's on a couple other different platforms.
Okay.
They're releasing a lot of shows all the time. So.
Nice. I'll have to tune in sometime and see.
I found it
out. Yeah, I should go follow them right now on my new telephone. Is that everything?
That's about everything.
Well, then, you know what? I think that's about it for the podcast, guys. Thank you all for joining us. This was a nice, relaxing episode with Freddie King, one of the three kings. If anyone's asking about the three kings, you now know about one of them. And
hopefully we'll get to the other ones.
Yeah, we'll get to them at some point, maybe season 3 or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what indicates what seasons are.
Season 3, we do a Three Kings special.
It could just be season 2 forever at this point. I don't even know. But if something,
podcasts are weird like that. If you don't take a break, you just keep going.
Yeah. There's no, we don't need to do a different season necessarily, but I don't know. If something drastic happens, we'll switch seasons. Anyway, that's been the Album Concept Hour. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time for a different album. Bye. Thanks for listening. The Album Concept Hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, John Aker, and Jake Foster. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Please like us on Facebook or friend us on Twitter or MySpace and let us know what concept album you would like to hear on the podcast. See you on Side B.
State Park.